Good morning and welcome to SEN Stream. Today we have an exclusive SEN Students Survive Week 1. We take a look at Week 2 and what you should expect moving forward. A SEN student muscles in and provides a tweet of the week. And we take questions and hopefully provide some answers on the chat. Stay tuned to find out more. Now, I've just noticed that my microphone wasn't switched on, so we'll try all of that again. Guys, welcome to SEN Stream episode 14. This new software is challenging, but here we are. But as I would say, it wasn't as challenging as the first week of this semester. Just getting yourselves readjusted back from the Christmas period over the new year, and then you had a heavy assignment load moving into the early part of January. And it's been a tricky one. So hopefully you've all had the chance to adjust, get back into your sessions and just generally get involved with the program as we move ahead. So hopefully we've got a few people joining us on the stream today. If you're there in the background, please do say hello so that I know who I'm talking to and we can be a little bit more specific to those who are actually watching the stream. I feel like the uptake for the stream's not been too great today, but maybe it's just been that big shock to the system that first week always presents. So what we're going to do is we're going to move ahead and start thinking about looking at the modules as we move forward. So if there are any issues... If there are any issues with the stream, which I think I'm having multiple versions of issues as we speak, then just let me know. Okay. Let's move across to the presenter view so that we can get a little bit of a handle as to what's going on. Apologies for the slight delay in me finding out what's going on. I just was getting some feedback there that some of the inputs weren't working, but I think we are good to go now. Okay, let's forge ahead. So, as always with live stuff, it doesn't always go right the first time, but here we are, forging ahead. Right, episode 14, semester 2, week 2. So let's have a look at the modules and the module updates that we have moving forward. So, obviously you've got advanced performance nutrition with me. First thing to say on advanced performance nutrition is that I put up the update form, the feedback form for Google form, just to get a bit of a capture as to how you guys felt the session went. It's always good for the person leading the session, as me, to try and get a little bit of feedback as to how, if you like the style, the content, the intensity, how quickly we move through things. I've seen a couple of responses so far. So what I tend to do is I just take some screen grabs of some of the comments that have been mentioned, and then we just address those issues at the start of the next session. So if you've got any thoughts on the first session on advanced performance nutrition, please go ahead and share those with us so that we can have an opportunity to kind of just have a bit of a chat and see if we can just recalibrate and move forwards and keep you guys happy. So now, after the stream today, the case studies will be made available ahead of the tutorial on Tuesday. So next week we have 2 hours of lecture, and then we have a 1 hour tutorial looking at the considerations for a vegetarian athlete. Now, there is, I believe, on the reading list, a little bit of information about finding out more about the specific needs of vegetarian athletes. So check out that article on there as well. An update on that as well, when you head across to the reading lists, there should now be chapters on there. So do take the opportunities to have a look at those chapters that I've recommended for the session so that we can move forward and make sure that everyone is on the right page. The slides are available for the next session, so go across there. Now, one thing that we do touch upon is the idea of energy turnover and energy balance and the kind of athlete's perception of those things. So looking at nutritional assessment, but from the opposite side, so getting a real handle. So a bit of that will be a little bit of a refresher, but we do go a little bit more in depth into the physical activity aspects of that. So one thing you might want to do is just head back to the lecture that I gave in Concepts and Principles for Nutrition on the energy lecture that I gave in semester 1. If you review that topic and if you review that content, then when you come into the session on Tuesday, you should be well up to speed with what's going on and be able to contribute to those further discussions that we have in regards to energy balance, energy turnover, and athletes' ideas. Now, Dr. Lindsay McNaughton from the Scottish Institute of Sport has been in touch to confirm that she's happy to come down and do the session on protein feeding, which is excellent news. Really excited to have her back again this year. I've just done a bit of a screen grab from her professional page on Sport Scotland's website. If you wanted to find out a little bit more about Lindsay's background, the papers that she's published and things like that, then go and take the opportunity to do that. It can be really useful to find out a little bit more about the person who you are being taught by. Finally, in next session, at the start of next session, after we've gone through the feedback from session 1, we'll look into the formative assessment introduction. So there'll be an opportunity to find out which videos you'll be watching, so they're specific to you as an individual, just to make sure that not everyone is watching the same videos and therefore like increasing the likelihood of plagiarism. So do take the opportunity. We'll take the opportunity to have a look at that formative assessment, and then we'll have a little bit of a discussion, look at the assessment map, and as a group, we'll decide when would be the best time to hand in that formative assessment, bearing in mind the turnaround for the feedback so that you can get that in a sufficient amount of time before you hand in your summative assessment on that module. Finally, so I've already mentioned this, but some of you have provided a little bit of feedback on the module, which we'll take the opportunity to have a look and go through. So I'm not sure if I'm speaking to myself today. There's not been too much chat posted. If anyone is watching, please could you just let me know if the stream looks decent, that you can hear me and everything's going well, just so that I know I'm not just sat here talking to myself. Granted, a few of you mentioned that you watch this later on, which is fine. I'm happy with that. So let's move it on. Let's look at the next module. Now we've got a nutritional assessment. So this is with Claire on a Wednesday afternoon. So you have Research Methods for Health Sciences 1 in the morning, and then that moves into now SEN Salad Wednesdays, which just reminded me just by doing this that I need to book a room for you guys if for those that want to take part in that. But anyway, nutritional assessment, just a little bit of a rundown of what you've done in the first week. So Claire has just given me a little bit of insight as to how the practical elements of the module come together, and she's given you a little bit of a rundown of the ABCDE approach, again sort of highlighting there that it's traditionally used by dietitians, but I believe she's put an F on the end of there, referring to fitness as well, which is a key thing for you guys. So Claire's really good at making sure that you guys are catered for in the joint modules. So she's taken the opportunity to just add the F on there for fitness to ensure that you're looking at the nutritional assessment through that additional lens as well. She's also given you a little bit of insight into coursework 1 and what it is that you need to do. So make sure you familiarize yourself with that moving forward through the module. Now, looking ahead to week 2, now she wants to be a bit more specific about specific examples of skills and skill areas, which she'll be focusing on kind of her expertise, which is directory assessment. So if you review, she's highlighted here, if you take the opportunity to review the literature in this particular area, there is a focus on 3 key aspects, all before you use any results. And she's taking the opportunity here to just kind of point these out and highlight to you ahead of the next week's session. So the first one would be collection of information about what individuals consumed. The second one would be processing of collected data to quantify foods and the nutrients consumed. And then finally, validating estimates of intake will come up later. So in week 1, she's highlighted here that you were set a task to mark a published article using the coursework assessment 1 rubric. Please take the opportunity to do that so that you have a bit of a clear idea of what the checklist is and the plans are before you start in your coursework 1. So Claire's, on top of it, she's really helping to contribute to the quality of that module. From personal discussions I've had with Claire, she's really taken the opportunity to revamp some of the content in this module this year, which is excellent. So do take the opportunity to follow up on some of those recommended readings, some of those tasks that she's set for you, so that you can be well ahead of the curve moving forward. Now, looking ahead to the next module, we've got assessment of health and fitness. So Jane has just given a short update here. As it was only yesterday that you had assessment of health and fitness. So just to repeat, that the next week we'll start off in the labs picking up some practical skills, which you will find useful for your research projects, depending on which topic and which project that you are aiming to do. Specifically though, you'll be looking at collecting finger prick blood samples with the use of the YSI. So the YSI gives you a really nice enzymatic determination of glucose and lactate within the blood sample that you've collected. And you'll also get an opportunity to get some hands-on experience with the bod pod. So I know a few of you, through discussions that I've had, will be interested in actually using the bod pod to look at body composition assessment, which will be excellent. Again, this semester, this whole module, you have loads of time for the practical sessions on that module, and the whole purpose of it is to ensure that you guys get an opportunity to get your hands on equipment, that you get a chance to have a bit of a play around with it and test the limitations of them, and really ensure that you upskill in those particular areas of collecting data from participants, whether that's body composition analysis or whether that's looking at specific parameters within the blood. They're really key skills to have, and they also feed into your nutritional assessment courseworks when you start to think about developing techniques, protocols, and standard operating procedures moving forward. So get yourselves involved in that session next Thursday. I think the only thing that isn't mentioned here is that just be aware that if you're going to be doing physical activity or having your body composition analysed, it's likely that you would need to wear appropriate clothing for that. So don't be rocking up in jeans and whatever. Just come with clothing that's appropriate for physically active activities. Now, finally, we've got research methods for health sciences 2. So Teddy's given me 3 key updates here just to share with you guys moving forward. So when you look at the timetable for research methods for health sciences 2, you will see on the far right there is a column of recommended tasks for you to undertake on a week-on-week basis. For this module, I strongly suggest that you take the opportunity to work through those particular tasks, just to keep you all on the right page and make sure that you're giving context to the sessions themselves. So ahead of next week's session, Liza will be running the session with you, and the information in question is available in the folder under the study materials 2018-2019. In addition, you will also find the lecture notes that I shared with you on an announcement this week posted within the study materials folder as well. Now, Teddy has also indicated here that the dissertation guidelines will be available on Blackboard in week 2. Now, I think that the process for this is that it's just being circulated around staff members to ensure that all supervisors have got the opportunity to just make sure that we're all on the same page, which is really important to ensure consistency across the different supervisors. And then finally, the last update, all relevant materials for the study design and project notebook will be provided accordingly in Blackboard and in the lectures moving forward. So any questions that you've got with regards to the module, obviously direct them towards Teddy and try and be sensible about that. So if you're in there in the session, that would be a good time to kind of pin him down and make sure you get the information. But just be aware, the likelihood is that information is going to be trickling out in the weeks ahead. So fear not. Okay, let's move it on. I'm just going to have a quick look as to what is going on in the background here. Okay, that's fine. Okay, moving it on. Now, tweet of the week. We had the opportunity to... Let me just have a slight change of view here. Excellent. So we had the... we've got tweet of the week this week. Now, I've been talking to various students, not necessarily MSc course specifically, but across the university about the use of Twitter and the use of a professional Twitter account. Now, I had one of your peers actually has muscled in here and kind of really got stuck into the whole idea of SenStream and ensured that her particular preference on this tweet has been recognised. So we've got Professor Graham Close here from Liverpool John Moores University, super applied sport and exercise nutritionist, leader in the field, comes out with lots of great work from Liverpool John Moores and the team that they have up there, and has taken the opportunity to just share with the community, if you like, the latest paper that's come out of that group. So he said, really happy with this one, and they would appreciate a retweet. So if you've got an account, please get on there and retweet it so that you can share this this excellent paper. So this is from paper to podium, quantifying the translational potential of sports nutrition. Now, I've just put a big arrow here to highlight who shared this. So it was Vicky Newbold, part-time year 2 student, who shared this with me and sort of collared me at the end of Research Methods 2 there, and just said, I've had a chance to read this paper and it's excellent. I'd recommend it to anyone who's doing the sport and exercise nutrition course. So Vicky, thank you for sharing that with us. Guys, head across to Graham Close's Twitter account. You can check out the link that he's put on there, and then you can take the opportunity to have a look at the paper that group has put together. I haven't had a chance to read it myself just yet. I've had a few things to do this week, is what I would say on that front. But do take the opportunity to have a look. I'm sure it will help inform right across all the modules on this particular course that you're doing. So do get involved and go from there. Now, I didn't have a chance just before the start of the stream to mention another tweet. But I think I'll be sharing this particular paper with you on the Blackboard site. But Dr. Sanjoy Deb has recently had a paper accepted, which is looking at the encapsulation of enterically coated encapsulation of bicarbonate with his previous institution up at Edge Hill University in Ormskirk. So his supervisor and the team that he was working out there was Andy Sparks. I'll take the opportunity to share this paper with you on the Blackboard site. But just congratulations to Sanjoy for getting out another paper. Excellent work. He's streaming ahead. Since he's joined Westminster, he's done an excellent job of sharing, of contributing. He's bringing in cash. He's getting papers out. He's doing a great job. Hopefully you enjoyed his module last semester as well, but good job for that, Sanjoy, and I'll be sure to share the tweet with the rest of the cohort as we move forward. Now, moving it on. Excellent. Now, a few of you in Research Methods for Health Sciences 2, which is all the full-time students and the part-time year 2 students, mentioned I said, well, are we doing SEN Salad Wednesdays? Now, the answer is yes, but I just need to take the opportunity to book a room for you. Now, I know a few of you hung around at the end of the session and just stayed within, I think it was in C215 you're in for the Research Methods course. Now, it could be the case that that's fine for everyone and whatever. I mean, I don't want to be too prescriptive with SEN Salad, and a little bit of feedback that we've got just generally across the course is that actually you guys really do appreciate a bit of a break between the sessions on a Wednesday, because it's quite intense for the part-time year twos and the full-time students to do that Wednesday. So you've got a 3-hour session, an hour break, and then a 3-hour session. So I really don't want to clutter up that Wednesday hour break for you guys. I want to just provide a neutral environment for you to just get involved with moving forward. So I'll look at booking a suitable room just to give you guys a change of scenery, but again, use it as you see fit. And as I said, one way of doing that would be for you guys to share your general ideas, thoughts moving forward on your research project. So what has worked for you, what conversations have you had, and what you're planning to do. So the more you talk with your peers, the more different ideas, different viewpoints that you're going to get. So don't be hesitant to share your ideas with people so that you can kind of increase the excellence across the course for all students involved moving ahead. So that would be excellent to get involved. I've double done the slide here. Let's move it on. Now, I believe, yeah. Now, from what I can gather, there's not many people watching today, which is absolutely fine. You guys might have just been a bit saturated with what has been going on this week. But hopefully, if there's any questions, as we mentioned advanced performance nutrition last week, if you take the opportunity to just comment on the video, I'll pick these up because I'll get an email notification, and then we can bring those to various different sessions and potentially across into next week's SEN stream. Now, just before I disappear, I just want to take the opportunity to have a little bit of a chat about concepts and principles. Now, I know a lot of you have had your marks back, and that Claire is dealing with some of the feedback on that module moving forward. So what I would say is Claire is going to be announcing a session, which is going to be next Tuesday, from 12 till 1, which is actually before advanced performance nutrition, and it gives you a bit of an hour to kind of calm down a bit before that session as well. So 12 to 1 next Tuesday, Claire is going to be putting on a feedback session for concepts and principles of nutrition. Now, if you've got any of the assessments that you need to retake, I would strongly encourage you to get to that session so that you can get some specific feedback about how you may think about changing your approach to the referral on that particular module. And similarly, if you felt like you didn't score as well as you'd like to, or that you felt that you could potentially take some of the feedback from the assessments on concepts and principles so that you're better informed about the assessments that you're going to be doing in semester 2. Again, get yourself to that session because it's going to be really important for you guys to get that feedback on concepts and principles. So get yourself down to the session. Look out for Claire's announcement with regards to concepts and principles. Again, if you've got resets and you're not there, you're not doing yourself any favors, okay? So get yourself to the session, get involved, and get the most out of the feedback that Claire can give you. Kind of relying on one-to-one sessions with Claire is probably not going to be a winner. So get yourself across to that Tuesday session, get involved, and find out as much as you can about how you can improve your mark moving forwards. So I think the fact that we don't have many people watching today, which is a little bit concerning with regards to the health of the stream, I think we're going to call it a day. So if you haven't had a chance to watch the video yet, hopefully you're watching retrospectively. If you do think that there's any questions or queries, concerns that come out of the back of this, then do leave us a comment on the video and we can pick that up at the start of next week. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch this. And I hope that, that you're well prepared for the sessions moving ahead into week 2. I'll call it a day there, but thanks very much for watching, and I'll speak to you next week. Take it easy, guys.